giving yourself permission to be light, to go into the bubble, to disassociate from the news, that's okay. And that helps us feel lighter. And when we feel lighter, we feel like we can do this.
Welcome to Worthy Mother Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Hardy, a mom of two on a mission to help moms everywhere feel less alone. This is not a parenting podcast. Instead, it's a space for pushing back against societal expectations of perfection and embracing self-compassion in your motherhood journey. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back to Worthy Mother Podcast. Today's conversation is going to get into really the experience of being a working mom, all the pressures that come with that, and navigating the challenges of juggling a career with kids. In the state of the world we're living in, there's a lot of other things going on too. So it's like the actual factors in our lives contribute to burnout, contribute to feelings of what the heck am I doing? How am I supposed to be doing this? And then there's so much else that also can contribute to that. And joining me for this conversation is Jessica Vickers. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist who specializes in working with working moms of color. And I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome, Jessica, to the podcast. Can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself and what it is that you do?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I am located in Orange County. So I actually have a private practice that's all virtual. So that's nice for me. It's convenient for especially the moms, right? So they don't have to get childcare and come to therapy. They can just, pop their kid down for a nap. Sometimes they log in from their cars, right? They step out from their job and they see me on their lunch break. So it's really just accessible therapy all over California. And I'm a mom of two boys. I just rescued a girl dog, so now I can say I have my girl too. And I'm just, born and raised in Southern California with my private practice. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
I guess I should have realized you are in California. I'm in California as well. I'm up the coast from you, but with the Disneyland post, I'm like, of course you're in California.
Yeah, you can find me at Disneyland most weekends, yes, on weekdays.
And I definitely want to get into that at some point because I know that's like very representative of just like some of the balance that you bring to your life.
Yes, I am the therapist who loves Disneyland.
I'm like drawn into it. So good. I relate to having girl animals. I have two girl cats and a girl dog because we've got two little boys running the show here.
Exactly. So. Exactly. We're living parallel lives.
Yeah, it's relatable. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if you can talk to some of the common patterns of burnout that you see in these moms that you're working with, these moms who are joining you from their car, from their office for therapy. What are some of the common things coming up?
Yeah. And, I see it with my friends. I see it with the PTA moms here, right? It's like, I think right now, especially with social media, with the pressures of being a good mom or a good enough mom, a lot of parents are really struggling to do it all, right? But they're trying to. So especially if you live in California, you're trying to pay your rent, pay your mortgage. That goes for all of the West Coast and the East Coast too, and basically anywhere that's not like middle of nowhere. So, trying to afford and be able to put their kids in swim lessons, baseball teams, things like that, all these things cost money, right? And then when you are looking at it on social media, you see all these people going on vacations. You see your favorite influencers promoting brands you should be purchasing. So I think financial burnout is huge for these parents, right? Like they're working to bring in an income, sometimes a primary income, sometimes a second income to their families, and they're still feeling like they maybe haven't made it financially or that they're struggling or they're living month to month. So that's a really, really real concern right now that I think is really burning some people out. I think it's also the trying to do it all, like trying to get to the PTA meetings at 9 a.m. at the school and show up for their job, trying to pick their kids up from school at 2 p.m. and put in the long hours at work, trying to drive back to the office now and then feeling guilty that their kid had to go to before school care or go to daycare all morning and all afternoon. So I think it's the being pulled in two different directions. I really want to show up as a boss in my career. That's important to me, or that's just necessary to pay the bills. And I really want to be a good mom, which in my head is telling me that you need to be at all the things. You need to be present. You need to be room parent. You need to be cooking homemade meals 3 times a day, things like that. Right.
Yeah. I mean, you're saying that, and it's like, yeah, there's the emotional component to it, and just like the mental drain, the emotional drain of
Mm-hmm.
feeling the like guilt, or feeling like this isn't exactly what I would like things to look like, but it's what it does look like because it's the reality of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the physical piece of like actually doing all the things, trying to
Yes.
be there and show up and get enough sleep and all of that, how difficult that is. But I think that
Absolutely.
piece, the financial burnout, that is such a, I appreciate you starting with that, because I think when we talk about, thinking about working moms, thinking about moms who are working and raising their families, there's lots of conversation to be had about like the way we talk about those things. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that piece of like money is a factor here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily the only factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like women have careers for many reasons, but
Mm-hmm.
like finances is a big piece of it. And
Mm-hmm.
we live in a world where like affording things is not a
Good
given.
too. Yep.
And the
Yeah.
stress that comes with that, it's like you can get the balance down. You can kind of get it all down and maybe have a good flow that works for you. And yet there's still this pressure
Mm-hmm.
externally on like,
Am I
I'm going
doing
to pay the
enough?
bills.
Is this, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So many moms who are in this situation, like you referred to, of like feeling like, am I a good enough mom?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to balance this. I think that experience of feeling like we're just stretched too thin
Mm-hmm.
across the board at home and in career is prevalent for a lot of these moms.
Yeah.
What would you say to a mom who feels like she's failing or not achieving enough at both
Mm-hmm.
work and home?
Yeah. First of all, it is going to be so rare to find a mom who's really feels like she's thriving at both, right? Usually, when you're really in your career era, the home life kind of struggles. I mean, I've had a really awesome week with work, so you should see my house. It is messy. I have a pan to clean downstairs. There's Legos everywhere. So something's got to give, right? So I think for these parents who feel just so spread thin and I'm not doing enough, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not thriving in either area, I'm failing at both areas, give yourself grace. Like nobody is doing it all excellently. If they are, maybe they have a housekeeper. Maybe their spouse or their partner doesn't work as much and gets to be extra supportive. Maybe they actually are only working part-time. And so when they say, oh yeah, I'm like killing it at work, it's like, yeah, because I only go in 2 days a week. So I think it's rare that parents are working full-time and feeling amazing at both, if that makes sense. So just kind of being careful with the comparison game. We all know it. Comparison's a thief of joy. Be mindful that what you're comparing yourself to might not actually be reality, and just grounding yourself in looking around at the facts of what am I doing well? Like, am I showing up well enough in my career? Why do I need to be the best? Do I need to be the one clocking in first and clocking out last? Right. Like, I think some of us have that over productivity drive instilled in us from a young age. I know I certainly do. When my dad would walk in the room, we would like quickly turn off the TV, right? And we'd be like cleaning, doing our chores, doing our homework because we needed to be productive. And so now as a mom, that's not sustainable. You can't be super, super, super productive in your work, in your home life, and not burn out. I think really just being careful of the comparisons, knowing that you're not the only one feeling this way, and you're probably doing better than you think, right? Giving yourself that grace.
Yeah, you said in there like looking at the facts. And I
Mhm.
think that that is such a hard thing to do when it feels like I feel like I'm failing. I feel
Mhm.
like I'm not doing enough in these areas. But it really is like, if you think about the fact that you have 24 hours in the day, you got to sleep for some of it, like you just do. And yeah, if you're going to be the first one clocking into work and the last one clocking out, like that is going to cut into those 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like, even just looking at those logistical pieces and
Mhm.
recognizing like, okay, and we're all working within those parameters.
Mhm.
So probably the comparisons you're making to someone else don't reflect what's actually happening in their life. You're not considering that for them as well, right?
Mhm.
Like it's just, I don't know, we get so caught up in these expectations that aren't grounded in any sort of consideration for that fact. The fact that
Right.
like you can't be with your kids 100% of the time
No.
and be at work.
Right.
Like that's, you can't do both. And so if the standard you're holding yourself to is like, but I really need to be the most present person with them all of the time, it's
Mhm.
like, okay, that like it's not going to happen. So you will
Yeah.
fail at that.
It's not realistic and nobody's doing that. Mhm.
Nobody's doing that. Like it's literally just not possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with looking at the facts, we also we reframe, right? So this is like a cognitive behavioral therapy tool for all of my girlies out there who are familiar with CBT, but it's like let's reframe some of these thoughts. So maybe for me, one of my thoughts as I'm rushing out the door to I do 1 day a week, I'm an EAP provider, and so when I'm rushing out the door, maybe I'm feeling guilty, right? Like, oh, I'm leaving my kids at 7:15 in the morning. I'm not walking them to school. I'm not packing their lunches. Like I'm being a bad mom, right? That's the negative belief. So how I kind of check the facts and I reframe is I go, yes, 1 day a week I do leave really early. And for other moms that have to leave early every day or more days than that, I totally validate that. For my situation, I sometimes I work evenings. So whenever you're working away from your kids and you're feeling guilty, you're leaving them, right? You're being a bad mom. Check it. Like actually I'm giving dad the opportunity to solo parent, which is good for him. He's building that muscle. Why should it always be the moms? Why should it always fall on the moms, right? Like, do dads feel guilty when they're leaving to go to the gym at 6 a.m. or go to work at 8 a.m. or coming home late at 6 p.m.? So I'm giving dad that opportunity to bond with them one on one. I'm letting him build that muscle. He can pack lunches. They are learning that like mommy leaves, but mommy comes back. Mommy has another piece of her identity that's not us. So these are all really good things, in my opinion, that we're building in our kids, right? So just sometimes we have to kind of talk ourselves through it and remind ourselves of those facts.
Yeah. You have to like shine the light on the good whys, the good
Yes.
reasons, the good
Yes.
impacts, because it's
Yes.
those, the negative impacts or the negative stories that are
Yes, those
so
stick with
prominently
us.
there.
Yes, and we're not reminding ourselves like, I'm going to go make some money so that we can pay our mortgage this month. I'm going
Yeah.
because I love being a therapist and I have 6 clients to go see and work with, and that's important to me too. Right? So, yeah, shining the light. I love that phrase of on all the positive reasons why we have to sometimes step away from our mom life, right? Even though it's
Yeah.
always with us, it's good to sometimes step outside of that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like I know for me, like, if I was with my kids all day, every day,
Couldn't do
like
it.
it's awful. I mean, like it really
Same, you're
is
right.
like not good for everyone. There's
Yes.
even like times where we're to, there's a weekend and we're like together, me and my
Mhm.
kids are together all weekend, 2 days in a row. And it's like by the end of it, it's like why did we do this to ourselves? Like this
Right.
is not actually conducive to any sort of
That goes for
goodness.
any yes, and that goes for any 2 humans because I do think there's a good group of moms out there who go, "Well, I love my kids. I want to be with them every second," and especially moms who are working full time when that's not their preference. They probably would hear that and be like, "You're not being grateful that you get to be with your kids more," or, "You should have that desire." But I shouldn't need to be with any human 24/7. I don't wanna see my husband 24/7. I don't wanna see my best friend, even my dog. Like, we need space. We need space. We need to kind of recalibrate. We need to refuel our tank. And then when I come back, I am such a better mom, right? Like, after I get my nails done, I'm such a good mom. The kids miss me. They're like, "Mommy, like, daddy didn't make us as good of a lunch." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm back to save the day." But like it's a little bit like absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
We're also giving our kids an opportunity to learn and have other role models and learn from other people. So when I send them to school 5 days a week, that's so good for them, right? They are learning that they have a big community that cares about them, that they have these teachers and these coaches and grandma and the babysitter that like really care for them and love them and are going to be for them. It doesn't have to be mom 24/7.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we've kind of talked about the factors of like juggling the work and the home life and the
Mhm,
expectations within both of those that we have for ourselves. But
mhm.
as I said earlier, like we're also living in the context of a world that like feels pretty heavy right now. Like
Yes.
there's a lot going on outside of the home, outside of
Yes.
the workplace that
Yeah.
is overwhelming. Like our
To
news
say the
cycle
least.
alone is like, it's a lot.
Yes.
How can moms strike a balance between staying informed, staying active in like what they want to be involved in their
Mhm,
communities, and also protecting their mental health when like we are talking about like the juggling between home and work alone is
mhm.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah, and then on your work break or when, after you drop the kids off or after you put the kids down for bed, you, like, pop open Instagram just to, like, de-stress and scroll, right? And it's, like, bad things, doom and gloom. So that's so valid. That is the state we're living in right now, unfortunately. I have a few posts on this on my Instagram, actually. I really like to break it down into steps. So, first of all, validating what you feel like, oh, I'm feeling really anxious right now. I'm feeling really depressed. I'm feeling really scared. Unfortunately, we just have horrible things happening every week. I think this week a lot of moms were triggered sending their kids back to school and things that are already happening again. So, I sit with my feelings and I validate them. I give myself compassion, right? And then what can I do about it? I would say set boundaries. So be really mindful of who you're following on social media or what news sources you're watching. I try to do ones that aren't too fear mongering, that aren't just trying to like grab your attention with the spicy headlines. I follow influencers, fellow therapists that like really give you the coping skills or that just really will sit with you through it or try to build community and engage in positive action. So being mindful with how you obtain your news, how you scroll, taking some action, right? Like I donate to good causes. You can use your 5 calls app to call your representatives to feel like you're doing something, right? You can sign petitions locally, at the state level, at the national level. Like there are things you can be doing and really just surrounding yourself with good community, right? So sometimes we have people in our lives that we disagree with or we have different politics with or we handle things differently. That's fine. You don't have to fight every fight. You don't have to have your dog in every fight. Sometimes there's something that pops up that you just need to turn off and not engage in. Sometimes something pops up, a conversation from your mother-in-law or, something that somebody posted and you do feel like you need to stand up and say something. So just giving yourself permission to take those as it comes and not need to be dysregulated every single time because nothing good happens when we're dysregulated, right? So regulate yourself, find your good community, and decide what steps you want to take in that moment.
I think that is such powerful advice. Like just the piece about having nuance in the individual thing that you could be reacting to
Mhm,
or could be
mhm.
responding to. Because I think that there's a lot of that right now of like everything feels like important. I mean,
Yeah,
everything is
yeah,
important.
yeah.
There's a lot at stake. And
True.
it sometimes feels like, oh, if I'm not acting on this one thing or if I'm not responding to this one comment that like is
Mhm,
bothering me, but like I
mhm,
don't have it in me to respond or like I know it's not going to go anywhere. It's like it's
mhm.
okay to decide in a moment like that's not what I'm going to handle. But I also
Yes.
think like that piece that you said is like taking action though can actually help with some of the feelings of like overwhelm. It's
Yeah.
important for other reasons, but it's also like taking action grounds us in the fact that we are making a difference and
Mhm,
speaking up when it is the right move to do so and only
mhm.
you can determine in that moment if it is, if it's
Right.
actually, has a net positive or not, because
Mhm,
sometimes it doesn't.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We don't have to engage every time, and that doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you smart. Work smarter, not harder, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And protecting our mental health. I mean, it like comes
Yes,
down to the fact that like we're juggling a lot and
yes, we
you
have
could do more good from a place of being solid in your mental health. I mean,
exactly, exactly, exactly. Mhm.
so you have talked about being a Disney adult and
Hey, let's
I love that. I
go.
seriously am so into. the stuff you post on Instagram about going to Disneyland. And I went to Disneyland a little under a year ago with my kids. I separated from my kid's dad last summer
Uh-huh.
2024, and we ended up doing a fall trip then to Disneyland, and
Aw.
it was just kind of us. It was for my birthday. We like
Yeah.
just had a good time. It was like one of those things where I'm like, this is so healing to my soul. Like my kids
Yeah.
had tons of fun, but I was like, this is my trip. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. This
yes.
is my passion. And this is actually a perfect segue from when the world is so dark and scary and overwhelming. One of the things I do is I go to Disneyland. I know that's very privileged, financially. That's just where we choose. Actually, honestly, my mother-in-law pays for my magic key, so that is her Christmas present to me every year. Thank you, Grandma TT. I love you. If you're listening, shout out because it is expensive. I just want to acknowledge that for all the listeners who are like, I can't afford to go to Disneyland. Valid. Costco does deals
Totally.
sometimes. Some of the magic keys are really worth it if you go like 5 times you paid it off. So, anyways, I also live like 20 minutes from there, so that's another
Totally.
privilege. I could literally like we only go for like 3-hour chunks. So like
Oh
I'll
my
take the
goodness.
boys Sunday morning and we're home by lunch, right? Because can't always spend the money on food there or they just get hot and cranky. So I'm super privileged, but Disneyland is such a peaceful place. It's safe. Like love those security guards. Shout out to the security process there. You really physically feel safe there. They have like first aid on standby, right? They have the baby room. So if you are breastfeeding or need to go charge your pump or just need to go change your baby in like a nice air conditioned room, they have those at both parks. So I love Disneyland. And so what I started doing is I started just posting about I'm a therapist who loves Disneyland, like it's my happy place, like the churros, the smell of popcorn, seeing Minnie all cute in her outfits. Like it just really makes me happy. And a bunch of other therapists were like, oh my God, us too. Like that'd be so fun to go to Disneyland together. So I started what I now call the Happiest Healers Club. And basically, we have a Discord going where we plan our meetups and other chats. We provide referrals to one another. It's just this awesome space of therapists who are like nerdy Disney adults. We don't judge, we collaborate, we're like fun. And yeah, we've had a few meetups now where we meet up at Disneyland. People are flying in from Utah, from Northern California. Like, this is kind of like a really cool growing movement. And it's really to give us healers this place to de-stress, unwind, be free, tap into our inner child. And honestly, we network. Like we're standing in line for Soaring Over California talking about which insurance panels are you on? How did you do it? Is it worth it? How are you growing your practice? You know? So it's really a
Yeah.
great way to connect with my fellow therapists.
I love that. And I think
Huge
it's something that we all can take, whether it's Disneyland. I mean, I love what you said about Disneyland, about just the ease of it and like the things that contribute to it feeling easy,
Mhm.
living close by, all the
Yeah.
safety measures, the way that like being a mom there can
Mhm.
be easier than other places. But it's like,
Mhm.
it doesn't even have to be Disneyland. It's like anything that feels
Or
unserious, that feels
joy.
like total just joy, inner
Yeah.
child joy.
Yeah.
And like I think I know that we as we become adults, there's pressure like not to tap into that. Like it feels
Mhm.
like no, I have all these responsibilities. Everything else we're talking about, right? You
Mhm.
have all these other responsibilities. There's all these things going on that you should be paying attention to, and yet there's things that actually could bring us joy, and it sometimes doesn't feel like we have the permission to do that. Like it feels like no, I'm supposed to be putting my energy somewhere else. And I think like that's just such a beautiful representation of like actually like it's beneficial for a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, it's fun for some of these therapist moms to get a break from their kids and like go to
Yeah.
Disneyland just as an adult and not as a mom. But sometimes we do meetups with our kids as well. And it's just, you feel like you have this village, right? And if your
Yeah.
kid's melting down, all the other Disney moms are just like, yep, expect it. It's fine. We get it. How can we help? Moving on. You know, it's like
Yeah.
nobody's judging you. So yeah, it's like the joy, it's the bonding, it's the camaraderie, it's at a very fun place. I'm pretty lucky. But you could build that anywhere, right? Like you said, you could build
Totally.
it anywhere that sparks joy.
Yeah, like the components of it, the bringing people together,
Mhm.
the doing something that is just,
Yeah,
I
beach
mean,
picnic.
magical. Like,
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, I love that. Do you find in your practice with moms that there is a lot of tension around doing those things that bring fun, doing those things that are like just for me?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think moms are notorious for putting themselves last, right? So to go to Disneyland without your kids, what? Like they would never, like, no, no, no. Disneyland is for the kids. Like I have to spark joy in my kids. My job is to make my kids happy. And I'm not saying it's not. That's certainly a part. And that's a fun part. I do like taking my kids. I like taking my kids to the park, bike rides, like being silly with them, reading fun books with them. Like, yeah, part of our jobs as parents is to spark joy for them. But part of our jobs as humans, as women, as individuals is to also be looking at and taking care of ourselves. Yes, so we can show up for them better, but also just for ourselves, by ourselves, because of ourselves. So going to Disneyland without kids or going and getting your nails done or penciling in. And I really encourage moms, like, put it on the calendar. You're going to the gym for me Friday at 10 a.m., right? And you are going to spend that hour on yourself. And then you can come home and do the laundry and volunteer in the class and do your notes and whatever else. But like, really take that time for yourself just because you're an awesome person that deserves it. Period.
Yeah. So I want to loop back around to talking about how we can end up feeling burned out when we're dealing with all the things, the work, the parenting, the world that we live in. How do you see joy and play and doing these things that feel good for us as a means for like working against that burnout and for not feeling so heavy and everything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's really a day by day practice of refueling your tank, right? Filling your cup back up so that you can carry on when things feel heavy, sparking joy, just giving yourself permission to be light, to go into the bubble, to disassociate from the news. That's okay. And that helps us feel lighter. And when we feel lighter, we feel like we can do this, right? If every day just feels like this duty and this burden, I think we are marching along, but we're not thriving, right? To me, when I hear the word, oh, that mom is thriving, I think of she's taking care of herself physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, right? And some of that is certainly showing up in my career and feeling really powerful and confident there, showing up for my kids and feeling really good and fulfilled there. But a lot of it, I think, comes from, for me, going to Disneyland, going to the gym, walking the dog, mindfully just like listening to the bees and the birds, like. So I think joy, play, fun, doing these things for yourself can really help you thrive rather than just feel like, oh, just hanging in there day by day, right?
Totally. When you said when you picture a mom who's thriving and started explaining it, I was imagining just like lightness, like the
Mhm.
just feeling like a vibrational energy that's just like, it's light, it's airy. And I
Yes.
think that it just is kind of that word thriving. I've never really thought of it in that way, but it is like kind of escaping the heaviness in a way.
Mhm.
And when things are so heavy for whatever reason, I mean, just the fact that like your schedule might be heavy
Mhm.
because it's just
Mhm.
packed.
Mhm.
It's hard to like get to a place where like anything feels light enough to carry. It's just
Yeah.
like bogged down and
Yeah.
it impacts our energy. And yeah, I mean, I think all of that, it's what we all want, right? We want to feel that lightness. We want to feel like we're able to move through our day to day with ease in a
Mhm.
way. Like, obviously, it's not all going to be easy, but it's like
Right.
finding ways for it to feel like less resistance and less just
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
ugh, I'm in it and this sucks,
Yes.
which will happen.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And some days, yeah, some days just suck. Yesterday,
Yes.
I had to be at work at 8 a.m., got home at 4 p.m., straight to back to school night, volunteering. Like it was really a slog, right? But the thing that got me through, A, grounding myself in my purpose of like the why I do these things for myself and for my family. But B, like I have fun things going on this weekend that I'm looking forward to. Like tonight, a bunch of us families are going out to dinner together. That feels fun and exciting to like be parenting in this village and this community together. We are going to go to the beach on Labor Day, right? So like building in these light activities where I'm not going to be just scrolling on my phone or working or doing something responsible at all. But like, yeah, I have those days where I'm 100% in responsibility, go, 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 push through mode. And then when I have things to look forward to, that just really helps me get through it.
Totally.
Mhm.
So if a mom who's listening feels completely worn down
Mhm.
by it all, everything we're talking about, and they're like, okay, this is great. Like, yes, totally get that, like, bringing more joy in is important
Mhm.
and reframing things. But it's like, where do I start? What is maybe one just small, doable step that you would encourage someone take today?
Mhm. Yeah, so I think one small step is I'm not expecting you to add in like an hour of journaling every night, right? You're too busy for that. I'm not expecting you to go book a Disney cruise. Like that's a big thing. I think adding to what you already do. So if you're already walking the dog in the morning, try to make it a little lighter. So don't be also scrolling on your phone looking at the news while you do it. Don't be listening to a news podcast while you do it. Take the headphones out or call a friend and like have a little good morning chat with them. Or this morning, my boys randomly were like, "We want to come with you." And I was like, "Okay." And so they rode their bikes ahead of me. And it was just like so fun and special seeing them bright and early, 7:15, like riding their bikes around our neighborhood. So trying to just build upon habits you already have. If you are watching TV every night, cool, so do I. Maybe turn it off 15 minutes earlier so you can read a book because I'm big book club girly. I've had this book club for almost 6 years now. Like that's a huge part of me and my fun and joy and self-care too. If you have like free time, really trying to put it on your calendar. Like I am going to the gym for an hour before I pick up the kids. So just look at your week, look at your day, your schedule, and where can you build it in that you're already going there, right? Like I'm doing the dishes, but maybe I do it while I'm playing K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack to make it more fun, or maybe I have a little dance
Yeah,
party with my kids before bed, not to rile them up, but to get all the wiggles out. So,
totally.
just trying to find little moments and really like pencil it in and be proactive with yourself about it.
Yeah. I love that like idea of inserting the fun into what you already do. And
Mhm.
I think sometimes it can feel so forced to do some of
Mhm.
those things. And I think like just being like, okay, that's fine. If I'm forcing it on, forcing the dance party on or forcing the like,
Yeah,
I'm going to play this playlist and it feels like contrived, it's like that's okay.
yeah,
You might actually really enjoy it. And if you
exactly.
don't, then fine. Like it's good. It's all good. You can try something else, but I just think giving ourselves permission to do the little things that, like, maybe that would be fun. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It's really powerful. Because, again,
exactly.
like, I think I don't know, it keeps coming up for me. It's like we just are trained to be unserious as adults, or like trained that that's like what we're supposed to be.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
like, that's,
Don't
you
be
wear
too
your Mickey
cool.
Mouse ears.
Yes.
It's like,
I
yeah,
almost
don't be
brought
too
them to
cool.
put them on when we were talking about Disney. I was like, "Oh my
I
god,
love
let's
it.
put these on." But yeah, like giving yourself permission to wear that silly Disney t-shirt, just who cares if people think it's cringe or silly? It's like I'm having fun. I'm sparking joy in myself and my family. Like we need that
Yeah.
more than ever. And so yeah, again, just like building upon habits we already do. If we eat dinner outside, like we're going to do a themed party and we're going to like put candles on the table outside or, like whatever you already do in your day, just adding in a little bit of music, fun, joy, mindfulness, like whatever, movement, whatever works for you.
Yeah, I love all of that. So I typically end these episodes asking a question about self care and just getting into how the guests take care of themselves to
Mhm.
help other moms kind of see how they can also, because it's so important to care for
Mhm.
ourselves. Obviously, we have talked a lot about
Mhm.
tapping into self care and
Mhm.
joy in this episode, but I just want to like open it up if there's anything else you want to share of ways that you feel like you take care of yourself in your life, and just if there's anything else to offer moms.
Yeah. I think reading has really been something that I really just do by myself for myself, right? And then connecting with a book club for like the fun community and accountability of it. But that was something that really worked for me. It's also fun for me. I'm a Virgo, so I love like tracking my progress and like making it like putting it on the schedule and seeing it the results. So I love to be on Goodreads and I love to like count how many books I read in a year and see what people are rating books. So that's been a fun one for me. Also, it's just been the past year that I have really gotten into working out because I always felt like working out was such a slog. It's something forced. I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because I have to. I think a lot of women work out for the wrong reasons, right? It's like to lose weight or to try to flatten that tummy or because yoga is what everyone's doing and I have to do yoga or because Pilates is hot now. So I need to get into Pilates or everyone has the Peloton, but I don't have the Peloton. So what's the point? Like, I think we can really get in our head with working out. So for me, self-care, and I tell all my clients, I'm like, sleep, nutrition, and exercise are the hugest pillars of our selves. Like you're not going to be making good decisions on your best intellectual foot if you're not taking care of yourself physically in those three ways. So getting good sleep, getting nutrition, but really I just started exercising like for myself and I follow this workout girly that like encourages you and tells you what to do and tells you again how to log your progress cuz Virgo. But so I encourage moms, it doesn't have to be the gym for you. It doesn't have to be yoga. It doesn't have to be marathons, but find what you really actually enjoy. Cause this is like, I'm going on 36 next week. And I finally have found and connected to a workout program that I love. So if you haven't found it yet, you're not alone. But I hope you're not just exercising because it's like, oh, self care. I guess I have to exercise. Like, I want you to actually want to go and do it. So explore, find a buddy, morning, afternoon, night, whatever your preference is energy wise. But I hope that people can really find what they love with that movement.
Yeah, I think all of that is really important. I love you brought up the tracking progress for both the reading and for the working out. And
Yes.
I actually like want to highlight that. I think it's an interesting way to like it's an interesting kind of self-care option. If
Hmm.
we think about everything that we were talking about earlier in this episode with like feeling like we're supposed to be succeeding at these like extremely high levels at home, in career, yada yada yada. Like we can end up feeling badly about ourselves when we're not perfect in all the areas.
Hmm.
I like this idea of like choosing things like reading that you're going to be doing a lot and you're going to
Hmm.
be, you know, quote, succeeding in this way, and
Yes.
like giving that to yourself as like a goal and like something that
Yes.
you can achieve at, because it's like you can
The boost.
celebrate that win. And it's
Yes.
arbitrary, right? Like it doesn't
Yes.
really matter, but like
Yes.
you're making it matter. You're telling
Yes.
yourself it matters. Like
Yes.
it's kind of smart.
Yeah, I do Duolingo every single night and I just love the little bing like when it fills up your circle like and it tells you you've done 600 days in a row. You're like, that's awesome. Like I think it's such you totally nailed it. It's like we're just building this self-confidence and this pride in ourselves, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I read, oh, I'm reading 50 books this year. Or like, oh, I'm reading and I set my goal. Girl, if you're reading 5 books a year, that's great. And make them fun books. They don't have to be like work related, right? Like I'm not only reading psychology books, I'm reading smut, I'm reading fantasy, I'm reading murder mysteries. But if it's like 5 books a year, 12 books a year, like setting the goal and then watching the little ticker fill up is such a fun way to feel proud of yourself. And yeah, you're not like, you don't need to post it on Instagram. You can if you want, that's cool. But it's just for yourself to be like, I did it. Right. And that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's almost like we, in a lot of these conversations about like changing the expectations, or I don't know, I think sometimes it's like the conversation can get to a place where it's like, we don't need that validation. We don't need to
Mhm.
be doing those things. And it's like, there probably is a lot of truth there. Like, cause
Mhm.
we, you know, we tend to be like programmed from a young age of like, your worth is in what you do and all that stuff.
Yes.
But it's like also, we don't have to resist that completely. Like, you can
Yeah.
also tap into it and be like, that actually does like make me feel really good. And if I
Yeah.
can kind of
Motivating.
figure out how to capture that in something that I actually want to be doing, and that maybe I would be doing anyway. Like it's not
Mhm.
even like I'm gonna read more because of this, but maybe you will. Like there's benefits to it, but it's also just like, okay, this is an area that I'm doing well in, so I'm gonna actually
Mhm.
like bring visibility to it. because
Yes. Yes,
why not?
exactly, exactly. Oh, I'm so glad you pointed that out. I love tracking. I always just thought it was this like Virgo neurotic thing. But it's just so fun and I'm so proud of myself when I meet those goals, right? So
Yeah,
working out goals, reading goals, Spanish lesson goals, whatever it is for you, like journaling. My husband uses this journaling app. Like, hey, you've journaled for 4 days in a row. Good job. Like, so if you log how much water you drink and you're like, yes, I drank my whatever ounces, it's like that's all that stuff can be a fun motivator.
totally. And you get like the benefit of doing the thing
Right.
and
You
this
drank the
little
water.
like exciting feeling when you're like, yes, I hit the goal. It's
Hmm.
like a win-win-win.
Yes.
Amazing. Jessica, where can listeners find you? I know there's probably gonna be people listening who are like, okay, if she's Disney obsessed, and Jessica posts like also not just like Disneyland things, but like you do really awesome carousels on Instagram that like
Oh,
relate things to different Disney characters and
yes.
stuff. So like if that sparked something in you, this is definitely an account you want to be following.
Oh, thank
But Jessica,
you.
yeah, let us know where we can find you and just if there's anything we should look out for.
Yeah, my Instagram is at Jessica Vickers MFT. And I have a TikTok. I don't really post on it. My website is jessicavickersmft.com. The Happiest Healers Club has a website launching, but really, if you just DM me or comment on one of my posts saying that you want to join the Happiest Healers Club, I'll add you to our Discord. We have an October meetup planned. I have really exciting things planned for next year. I was just featured in SF Gate, which is like a huge news source here in California for my love of Disneyland as a therapist. So you can go read that article through my Instagram. So yeah, exciting stuff. Thank you.
I saw that by the way, and like big congratulations. That's a pretty
Thank
cool feature.
you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing all of this. And I don't know, I love this like kind of light energy conversation that I think is
Yeah.
really needed right now. And I don't know, I've been finding myself feeling drawn to having more conversations about joy on the podcast. So that's been kind of a theme with some of the most recent episodes. And I just appreciate you being here and sharing your perspective on all of this because it's crucial right now.
I love it. Yeah. Happy to be here. Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week. You are worthy, Mama.